Dragon's Dogma 2 recently received a substantial patch that supposedly improved performance. After diving back in, I can say it certainly did. It is still not perfect, but the game is much smoother. And in my second playthrough, I started to really appreciate some features that make Dragon's Dogma 2 feel so distinct from other open world games. Obviously, most of these features are not unique, and in fact, were taken from the first Dragon's Dogma. However, the original game didn't seem to have a lot of impact. So it would be cool if the second Dragon's Dogma had a bigger impact, and maybe its game design features would be implemented in future games. In this video, I'll discuss some of these features and how they affect gameplay experience. One of the biggest ways Dragon's Dogma 2 stands out is in how it treats travel. Unlike many modern RPGs, it doesn't hand you a quick fast travel option from the start. The lack of fast travel means that you really feel every mile you travel. When you set off on a journey, it feels like a journey. You don't just click on a map marker and warp to your destination. You experience the distance and obstacles along the way. This makes the world itself feel much larger and more immersive, and reaching your destination feels like an accomplishment. The game has an ox cart system, which can take you from one city to another, so it is a type of fast travel. But still, it's not just a simple teleport, it takes more time than just one click. First, the ox cart doesn't go between cities constantly, but at certain times, which, again, makes the world feel more realistic. And second, along the way, the ox cart can be ambushed. It can be destroyed during an ambush, leaving you to finish your journey on foot. This feature strikes a balance between convenience and immersion, making travel feel active and a little unpredictable. There are also port crystals to which you can teleport using an item called Ferrystone. These items are limited and precious. It's entirely up to you how and when to use them. This resource scarcity means that each teleport feels like a meaningful decision rather than a casual shortcut. This system forces you to think carefully about when to use fairy stones and save them for potentially long journeys from one end of the map to another. Additionally, port crystals or points to which you can teleport are also limited and can only be found in main cities. Besides pre-established port crystals, there are a couple of them that you can place yourself to teleport to this place later. However, before that, you need to reach this place on your foot. And also, port crystals are even more limited than fairy stones, and you, as a player, need to think carefully about where to place them. For example, if you want to prioritize vacations that use magic, it is a good idea to put one at the Elven Village, where you can improve your item's magical characteristics, as you will go to this place regularly. On the other hand, for physical damage vacations, this place is a bit less important, and so you might want to place your port crystal somewhere else. As a result, you, the player, take a more active role in traversing and exploring the world. This system makes exploration an integral part of gameplay, similar to games like Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring. You're not just following quest markers, you're discovering things on your own and making decisions on how to traverse the world, which creates a sense of adventure. One feature that really sets Dragon's Dogma 2 apart is how it handles darkness. In many games, nighttime or dark caverns are only moderately darker than daytime. But in Dragon's Dogma 2, when night falls or when you enter a cavern, it's actually dark. You can't see much without your lantern, and even then, the light only extends so far. And it changes how you play. You move more cautiously, knowing that there could be enemies lurking around just out of sight. This true darkness gives a sense of tension and immersion, especially in caves and forests, where enemies are lying around and can ambush you from various sides. You can't just move forward blindly. Instead, you're forced to slow down. This darkness becomes an enemy of its own. It makes the whole environment more hostile. One of the most praised aspects of Dragon's Dogma is its unique pawn system. Pawns are your companions, but they're not just pre-created NPCs following you around. They learn from their experiences both in your world and with other players. They sometimes offer you valuable insights based on what they've picked up in past adventures. They may guide you toward a chest or suggest a strategy against a certain enemy.
Arisen, I know of at least one location in the vicinity that may be of interest to you.
It feels especially cool when your main pawn says something like, "While traveling with another master, I learned of a hidden chest nearby." It creates a sense that your pawn has a life of its own. They exist beyond your game. The pawn system turns exploration into a sort of collaborative activity. Unlike many games where companions are purely reactive, here they have more agency. It reminds me a bit of the Nemesis system from Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War, where enemy characters evolve based on their past encounters. Similarly, in Dragon's Dogma, pawns evolve throughout time, and it would be great to see something like this in other games. Another very interesting feature of Dragon's Dogma 2 is Elven language. Besides the common tongue, there is Elven language that you don't know. So if you go to the Elven city, Sacred Arbor, you will not understand what NPCs say.
Akael fil Kalawit, Arumefa in Itarond, Etele Eldalia Nun We.
There is a quest line in which you travel to Sacred Arbor with an NPC, and the NPC translates for you. But after completing it, you need to find a pawn that can translate the Elven language for you. If you build a relationship with an elf, they will give you an item that teaches Elven language to your main pawn, so it can translate for you. This is such a great idea, and I can't remember seeing it in other games. I'm sure there are some games that have a language unknown to the player. However, in most other RPGs, you automatically know all the languages, or everyone speaks the same language. And it doesn't really make sense for every faction or race to speak the same language. Adding a language that requires translation is such a small touch, but it reinforces the idea that this is sort of a real, layered world with its own cultures and languages. Now, to be clear, I am not suggesting that every game should adopt all these features, but there is something about these mechanics that could add depth to other games, especially open-world RPGs. By making travel more challenging, companions more involved, or exploration more consequential, games could offer players a richer, more immersive experience. Dragon's Dogma 2 reminds us that sometimes it's the little things, limited fast travel, the actual darkness, or even an unknown language that makes the world feel real and alive. If more games would experiment with features like this, I believe we would have more unique, memorable adventures in video games. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.